TIFU by abruptly stopping my volunteer work with pelicans, probably ruining my career. Made a throwaway to get advice on this elsewhere previously, but it's become clear it's more of a TIFU than anything else. I study zoology in university, and as part of our degree we're supposed to get a certain amount of field experience. Also, most good zoos, animal internships demand it. So when our ornithology professor mentioned a volunteer opportunity with pelicans through some local group, I thought that sounded cool and I signed up, and was one of 2 students chosen. It was supposed to be us 2 and a professional helping to band young pelicans for research, where you slip a little band around their ankle that's unobtrusive to the birds but useful for tracking purposes. So the 3 of us got out to the island for a long day of pelican banding. The professional showed us how to do it and how to deal with an incooperative pelican. And then I gave it a try on one and did it right. But then the 3rd pelican I tried it on vomited all over me as I was doing it. I let it go and started gagging, and felt really nauseated. My whole lap and shirt were covered in it and the smell was horrendous. I just sat there retching and trying to wipe it off, but to not much avail. After a few minutes the professional said, "Hey, come on. We've got a lot more to do. I've been puked on too already. Nothing to worry about." But I said no. I'm not going to go get puked on 10 more times today while doing this. I can't handle that. He got annoyed and said, "Really? You're going to leave 3 people's work with just 2 people for the day?" We said it would be messy work. I thought, well, not this messy. So I just sort of sat there for a few hours while they worked and tried to distract myself from my vomit-stained shirt with my phone until it was time to leave. The trip back was hell too. They both stunk so bad I couldn't take it. Needless to say, my professor is mad at me, but I'm not sure what I was supposed to do. I would have gotten sick myself if I kept it. Just today I met with him to try to smooth it over with him. He said he understood why I felt sick, but that I probably wouldn't be getting any other volunteer opportunities for the time being, which, since those seem to be needed for internships and jobs, means I might be screwed. TLDR. Volunteered to band pelicans but quit once one puked on me. Probably ruined my career aspirations. Alt take. Today you learned early on that you should probably choose a different career path. I think they're doing you a favor though. You wanted to be a zookeeper of all things? You have to be a special kind of crazy about animals to put yourself through the disgusting smells and messes they have to endure on a daily basis. Regardless of how it made you feel, quitting a job and sitting on your phone while the other 2 continued and split your haul is a bad look. I would say you should have just gotten over it and finished your responsibilities, but if it really threw you off so much that it was impossible to overcome despite the people relying on you, then at least you found out that path wasn't for you. Honestly, if you can't handle that, being a zoologist probably isn't your best career choice. You're not sure what you were supposed to do. You were supposed to just deal with it and get on with the job. This is probably not the right career path for you. Didn't you post this exact story a couple of days ago on AITA? Why use a new account? Your work ethic seems the bigger concern than the prospects of your future volunteer work. You probably should get a new career. So not much lost for your future. The real lesson you should learn is not to sign up for important work, then give up at the first adversity you face, inconveniencing your peers who have to make up for your poor attitude. The volunteer work is about improving animal life, not smelling nice and doing fun things. So you picked a career where you work with living beings. But you can't handle being around living beings? But the biggest problem here is this. So I just sort of sat there for a few hours while they worked and tried to distract myself. So your attitude in life is, if I don't like the thing I was asked to do, then I'll just sit around playing on my phone while other people have to do it for me. Now I'm wondering how pelican vomit compares to human vomit or cat, dog vomit, and if it's that much more horrid or if Op just has a weak stomach. I can't be the only curious one. So instead of continuing to work after you already has the vomit and related smells on you, you sat on your phone instead while continuing to reek of vomit? To me it's the fact that you didn't quit to change clothes. Like I could almost understand if you left for the day or left and came back. I get not possible because you were on an island. I've been to a bird sanctuary island before diving and yacked from the smell. But how exactly is sitting on your phone materially better than helping them? If in both cases you still have to smell vomit. I use this phrase so rarely, but it really applies here. You really need to buck up if you want to succeed in the world. As an aside, I get the feeling. I have a weak stomach for smell. I remember my first job in college was at a fish and chip place. I started as a dishwasher and my main job being the FNG was scrubbing these back racks that held trays of raw fish. The smell of these racks was unbelievable. It was misery, but I had no choice. I even sliced my finger open on one of the racks so bad it was half dangling. They had to inject disinfectant directly into my finger meat because it was full of raw fish juice. They might as well have cauterized it with a blowtorch, it hurt so bad. I say all this to say, I put up with that for a job I hated and had no interest in making a career out of. If you find something you actually want to do, you're gonna have to be a bit tougher if you want to succeed. INB4 uphill both ways in the snow. I'm not actually even a boomer. Man, I feel bad for all the students who didn't get chosen 'cause the space went to you. They missed an opportunity that they may have gotten a lot from. But it's not really your fault that you didn't know you would dislike it. What is your fault is the way you handled it afterwards. Pelican puke does sound incredibly disgusting. Granted. But sometimes you have to do things you very much don't enjoy for the sake of your career. Being a zoologist doesn't mean being naturally blessed with an iron stomach. It means being determined to power through and to help the animals and your colleagues, even if you are temporarily disgusted or uncomfortable in the process. The only foo of this whole thing would be not learning from this experience and not realizing that zoology is maybe not for you. Maybe you should do some serious thinking about what you want to do in life. There is no shame in saying this isn't for you. If you want to try to salvage the situation a bit, then I would suggest you ask your professor to pass on a card to the volunteer team at the place where you didn't cooperate. Write a note saying that you are sorry you didn't feel able to take part on the day, and you realize you left them in the lurch, for which you're truly sorry. Whilst you did feel unwell, you realize what you did was unprofessional and discourteous to your colleagues. You are very grateful for the opportunity they gave you and you deeply regret having squandered it. You've learned from the experience and will do better in the future. In terms of both preparation, e.g. rubbing VapoRub round your nostrils, wearing a mask, etc., but chiefly in terms of attitude and commitment to the animals and your team. Sorry again. Personally, I would write a similar note to my professor, focusing on having damaged their and the university's reputation too. The good part of this experience was a lesson that you found out that the real world is different. Once you graduate from the university, I hope you learned something from this eye-opening experience, whether if it's what you want to pursue or to reconsider a different career. What you experienced was just the tip of the iceberg. You're not a team player. And you clearly can't be a zoologist. Literally anyone would be pissed at you. You sat on your phone and made other people pick up your slack. Do you really not see what you did wrong? Pick a new rate. Friend, all animals are nasty. If that was enough to make you step back, wait until you have to check for parasites in piles of dung. Every person I have ever met who works in a zoo or knows people that do says they stink. The job makes you stink. Every day. It takes a special kind of nuts to work with animals in that capacity. If you can't handle smelling now, maybe look unto something else. If you work with animals, you are going to get covered in all sorts of nasty stuff, and you should probably get ready for that. Day 1. You learned that animals smell. Looks like you need to change your career path. Animals aren't for you. Be happy you figured it out before it's too late and you're slinging lattes with a $150,000 degree. What are your career aspirations? Your previous post on this was pretty much "this happened, but I don't think it's my fault." Yes, you shot yourself in the foot by your actions. And no, you're unlikely to get competitive opportunities having done so. It means you're more likely to have to look for opportunities yourself, which is still totally doable. You should probably consider this a learning moment, whether for your work ethic or your suitability for a zoology-related career.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.